when you plant a lot of plants, like most people, we in May and late April we get going, but the second season begins in mid-July to late July. And the nice thing about that, if you even from seed or very young transplants, when you put them in at that time of year, plants that are going to go, root crops in particular, all the brassicas and so on, they're going to start to harvest in about mid-October, all the way into November. And that's that second crop that is incredibly important. Like when there's lots available at marketplaces and so on,
Yeah,
that's one
sure.
thing.
Yeah.
But we're, getting ready for Thanksgiving dinner. It's so great. And, it's a special thing to go and pull carrots out of the ground and dig up
Mm.
some late potatoes to be able to have when you're enjoying them. It's something you grew yourself. And to me, that is significant. And it's so easy to do. But the thing is, and maybe just think about it, if you don't have a garden, certainly understand. We're all going to grocery stores and getting turkeys and so on. But the thing is, what can we grow ourselves? And at this time of year, and this is more typical weather we seem to be getting right now, a lot of the squash will be out in the garden, the winter squash in particular right now. And we know they last for months. If you want to have a pumpkin pie, guess what? They're available, but something
Yes.
we can grow. Brussels sprouts seems to be a mainstay of Thanksgiving dinner. They will go right through the entire winter in the Lower Mainland, no problem. But all the onions, which keep so well, the carrots, the beets, parsnips in particular, are becoming a new hottie in terms of that new type of wonderful food that people are discovering. It's so they stay in the ground. You just pull them up when you need them, and it's really great. A couple of other things, though, and those are more traditional vegetables. And please remember that we talked about mid to late July is the time to put in that second crop for a late fall harvest. The winter vegetables are really, I'm so pleased to see so many people starting their own seeds or doing transplants of winter vegetables. And here's a little confusion there. Those are normally planted in late August and early September. And all the brassicas, and you'd amazed how much beautiful cauliflower, pure white cauliflower, and the cabbages and red spear broccoli.
Oh.
It is so fabulous in the garden. And guess what? No bugs at that time of year and no weeds at that time of year
Oh
with
my
the harvest. So,
goodness.
yes, exactly. Bonus bucks. But they have to get through the winter. And I would say they have to size up by about September, October, and then they'll sit dormant. But at the end of it, and they keep developing slowly from the inside so that the end of February, early part of March, they're ready to harvest. So we just have to think a little bit differently. But pushing thoughts a little bit further, people, cranberries are a staple at this time of year. We've got lots of cranberry farms in the valley, which is great. But folks don't realize that, well, I can't grow cranberries. They're a boggy plant. No, they're not. They're a beautiful ground cover. And if you have a spot where you need to cover the ground instead of using a juniper or, euonymus or some other ground cover, use cranberries.
Wow.
They're evergreen, they're hardy, they're actually quite beautiful.
They look
And in
gorgeous.
the
Yeah.
spring, you get gazillions of little white flowers. And at this time of year, because we have them growing in the nursery, they're full of these beautiful big red berries. And let me tell you, they're bitter as all get out
Yes.
this time of year. But once you have a frost or two, they become sweeter, so you can save those for Christmas. But the idea is we can grow that. And it takes virtually no space. But if you love a little seasoning, for some of your vegetables, horseradish is a staple. It's hardy year round. And our Jerusalem artichokes are becoming really popular. They're nut-like flavor. They can be used in soups and salads, but they stay in the ground all winter long. And folks are loving herbs right now too. And in the Fraser Valley, I did a little research on this, which was interesting. Virtually all of your oregano and marjoram and thyme and even parsley hardy to zone 4 and zone 5. That's up in the Okanagan. And that's in the ground, of course, but down here in containers outside, you get to enjoy them. And chives as well, very, very hardy. So we're not realizing it. They can just stay outside. There's no problem at all in terms of having to do that. But just pushing the envelope a little bit. And even further, in Europe, lingonberries. It's a vaccinium like a blueberry and like a cranberry. It's a vaccinium family. Lingonberries are the highest antioxidant we could possibly get, but they ripen amazingly at this time of year, as do the evergreen huckleberries. Those are other
Oh.
vacciniums which we can have in the garden. But Michelle, it's so nice to be able to go out in your garden at Thanksgiving and in the case in Christmas to be able to pick and enjoy some of these things. And I think we need to think just a little bit differently, time our planning in terms of when we plant things, and even our vegetable, or I'm sorry, tomatoes, and they, have the later varieties that'll still hang on right now. But even the fruits like apples and pears, the Asian pears are amazing at this time of year. It's so there's so much possibility. We just have to think a little bit differently.